you said when you came, this didn't actually even exist.
No, this didn't exist 2 years ago when I first arrived. We didn't have a training ground or anything. Every day we were training in different places. The staff was very limited. 1 or 2 physios only for 25 players. So yeah, it's a very different story now. Now we have everything we need.
And you got up to Serie A as well.
Yeah, we did it last year, maybe a little bit faster than we expected to.
Cesc, I've not come here just to talk about your coaching career. I want to talk about all aspects of your brilliant playing career. You started, obviously, like most people, you probably started just kicking a ball around in the streets and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about your childhood and your footballing childhood.
Well, it was very much, I grew up in a family where they were all Barcelona fans. My granddad took me to the first experience at the Camp Nou when I was 9 months old only. So I was basically a baby. I don't remember anything.
Maybe that's the secret to producing a great player.
Maybe, from very early days, to start watching football is important. But then I always had a family that followed it up. We lived in a very small town of 12,000, 14,000 at the time. And I just remember going around the park and the streets. It was not that dangerous as now. Maybe parents now were a little bit more protective. I remember since I'm 8, I used to walk to school by myself and always playing football and kicking the ball around with friends or with my dad.
How does it happen with Barcelona when they spot talent and you end up in a place that lots of people will know about called La Masia? How did you end up there?
Well, I was playing very close to my hometown in a bigger city. Let's say they signed me up from when I was playing in the school, early days, with 2 years older than me. So basically they saw something. I started playing in this league with this little city between my hometown and Barcelona, where we were playing against Espanyol, Barcelona, Danferran, Martorell, etc. So, because I was always younger, and I used to score goals because I was playing a little bit more like a striker before Barcelona, they have a lot of scouts around, especially in Catalonia at those ages. And they just took me there for a trial for a couple of Mondays, training with the year older than me. And I guess they liked me and, I proved myself in there.
What is it about La Masia that
with time, I think everything kind of started. He decided that, as you well know, that the 3-4-3 was going to be implemented through the whole of the academy, and he believed a lot in the positional play, and everyone had a role, to achieve inside the pitch. And this is what they teach you, and coach you since you are 8, 9, 10 years old, and we all grow up in a certain way of understanding the game and being coached the same way, that when you get older and older, everything just becomes easy and natural. But I do believe that the coaches that La Masia produce, for the young players are super, super important.
It's interesting because when I played for Barcelona, we didn't have the training complex they have now. They used to play on a little pitch on the side of the Camp Nou. It wasn't even a full-size one, I don't think. It was not a great surface, but La Masia was the house that was just behind it. I used to think, that's where the players stay, and the young players. But obviously things change dramatically. When did you start to realise that?
Took the game in a very competitive way, but always thinking that I was not good enough. This was my mindset for some reason.
Really?
I was very tough on myself. If we lose a training game or I don't play well in a game, I always kind of destroy myself mentally, thinking that I'm not good enough. I need to do more.
Imposters.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. And I think this helped me in a way, because I was very hard on myself, but not in a negative way. I would always go out the day after wanting to prove myself and showing that, I could be better and better. And I think this was a kind of mentality that stuck with me for a very long time throughout my career, even when I was a pro.
Do you think, Cesc, that perhaps that's one of the reasons that you left Barcelona to go to Arsenal at such a young age? What were you, 15? Because perhaps you didn't believe in yourself that you would get into the Barcelona first team immediately, or not?
I don't think this was the reason, but I did see a team. I was the captain, vice captain of the team, so I felt that they believed in me. But in a way, the way Arsenal made me feel that they had a clear plan for me to go into the first team basically since day one, because I was about to turn 16 when I joined London and Arsenal. So for me, it was everything about the day that they said to me, please come and join us to London. We show you London Colney and we present you the project basically. Face to face, in a proper way. So for me, going there in the middle of July, David Dean comes, Arsene Wenger cuts off his holiday time to just come and see me. Then Francisca Gigao, Steve Rowley, everyone was there, and I was like, oh wow. I didn't expect that, because for a 15, 16 years old, that everyone just
They must have seen
stopped
something
by.
in you. I don't know why.
I really, at that moment, I was as lost as you.
Was that scary though? A little bit scary for that age to actually go to a big city. I mean, I know Barcelona's a big place, but to go at that age, not knowing anyone. Did your family go with you? Anyone? Or?
No. But I've always been very independent. As I said to you, I lived in a hometown that my parents are very, very young. They had me when they were 18 and 19, so I'm not gonna say they were like my brother and sister, but they were. I was raised as well, big time, by my grandparents, because they were young and they were working, and they also had their kind of life. So in this way, I think it made me mature a little bit faster. Also going to La Masia, and living there for a year or two helped me a lot, and I just felt ready. I've never been really scared of big challenges.
When did you stay when you first went there?
I stayed in a house with a landlady, Noreen. She was absolutely amazing, and also with Philip Senderos. They put me together because he speaks Spanish and English, so he was like my big brother, Philip, 2 years older than me. He was in the first team, Swiss international at the time. He was like a big prospect, for the future at Arsenal as a centre back. So yeah, he helped me a lot to settle in the club.
And you learned English straight away. I presume you didn't have any English when you arrived.
It's funny, this one, because in Spain, the level of English at school is not super high. But of course, you never know that as a kid before you move somewhere and you realize that you know nothing. So I used to get A's, A plus, and I'm like, wow, I'm super ready, to go to England. And my dad, I remember, before I'm going to the airport, going to London and start my new life, he said, okay, so if they tell you left and right, where you know everything and stuff, right? So I said, yeah, left, like left, sorry, and right, and they said, okay, good luck to you. He said to me, I did it the other way around, and said, okay. He was actually very worried about me that moment.
Yeah. What was Arsene Wenger like when you first got there? I mean, because he seems to be this almost father-like figure to a lot of players.
Yeah, definitely for me, it was like a father figure. The first time we went there with my parents and my sister, he didn't speak to me much. He spoke a lot to my mom and asking her questions about my youth and when I was younger, and what did I used to do when I lost a game. And he was very interested in these little things, about my behaviors, about how much I love football. I was a bit confused at the moment because he was asking all these questions that were nothing to do with me signing the contract or playing football for Arsenal at that time. And I always felt that he was a very, very special person since day one, and that he looked and was interested in things that nobody else was, and he had obviously his
Could you
reasons.
see that more now than perhaps at the time?
Yeah, 100%. Now I understand maybe the why he was asking these questions or what he was seeing, at the moment. But when it first happened, I didn't understand anything at all.
And what's his training like? Is that different to other people's training, or what lifts him apart from the rest?
For me, what I liked about working with Arsene is that he was not too tactical at all. He was all about individual skills or technical skills. He was always identifying the players that suited his style, and he used to make you understand football in a way that it's about the spaces, and the timings, not so much about structures or you play 4-3-3, 4-4-2. It's about identifying when is the right time to come and receive the ball, what is the movement of your teammate, and where is he for you to occupy a different space, So in this regard, I was a little bit lucky because from Barcelona, they already teach you this from a long time. But for me to have this continuity in my education, football education, with him was fantastic, because I just felt that I stepped in at the right place.
How happy were you in that period at Arsenal?
Probably the happiest time in my life, I would say. Those 8 years, everything happened so fast for me, and I grew up so much. Every year I felt that I was getting better and better and better and better, and this was not only for Arsenal, but thanks to this, then we went to the national team and I was a full international, and we won what we won with Spain thanks to that as well. So starting playing a little bit from the right, coming inside, because he wanted to protect me, not to be too much in the middle in this like kind of 4-4-2 system. Then playing me in the middle with Patrick or Edu and Gilberto Silva. Then he moved me as a number 10. So I felt that year after year I was getting better.
I was going to ask you about Patrick Vieira, who's an important person in your early part of your career.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was always so nice to me. I still speak to him even now when I have questions or advices to understand, not only for my playing time, but also now as a coach. And he's always been so helpful and supportive. I never felt, sometimes in the olden days as well, like older players, when they see young children or kids stepping up into the first team, they want to make their mark, and they want to make you feel that they are the boss and stuff. For me, I never felt any of this. I was integrated. I was feeling part of the first team since day one. I actually felt that they wanted me to grow and help me to achieve my dreams, and for this I'll never forget all of them. Ray Parlour, Martin Keown, Patrick, Thierry, Robert Pires, Sol Campbell. I couldn't have higher words for them.
Patrick Vieira's, in many ways, that might surprise people that he was so warm, because the way he played, he was so incredible. Competitive, wasn't he? But I think footballers are often different animals, aren't they, on the pitch and off the pitch?
Yeah, definitely. And for example, I can tell you, I think we spoke, you and me, in other places about Diego Costa, Luis Suarez, for example, and Patrick is definitely another one. He was a great leader, I have to say. I will always remember, before every big game, so let's say if we played a Saturday against Man United, the Friday morning prior to this game, he will kick someone in training, and he will create a kind of tension moment for everyone to feel that, hey, in 24 hours we have a war. I remember one time he did a really, I don't know, I was going to say great tackle. It was not a great tackle really, but on Freddie Ljungberg, and they started to kind of fight, and then sometimes with Jens Lehmann and etc. etc. So he knew exactly what he was doing. He was defending always his teammates on and off the pitch, and the presence that he had on the Saturdays, when we were playing inside the pitch, was something that I haven't seen from many players.
And the moral of the story is, when you have a five-a-side on a Friday, make sure that you're on Patrick Vieira's
100%.
I would think so. I think the other player, of course, that most people would love to hear a little bit about is Thierry Henry, playing with him.
Yeah, Thierry, I think, together with Lionel Messi, they are the two players that I felt much stronger when I was on a football pitch. It's like saying, okay, this could not be my day. the team could not play well, etc. But you know you will always have Thierry Henry there to save the day. And there were games that the later part of my career, let's say the last 8 to 10 years, I didn't feel that any game was easy. Okay, maybe when I was playing with Leo, yeah, you can feel the confidence that, okay, he will make something special. But also with Thierry, we were playing Everton at home. When we were in the tunnel at Highbury, stepping into the pitch, it's difficult to explain because I don't want it to sound weird or arrogant or anything, but I just felt, I knew we were going to win. That was the power of me seeing Thierry there, and I only felt it with him and Leo.
What's he like to play with as a person, Thierry?
Oh, Thierry was me, the same. Even now, obviously, because we have a connection here.
I was going to ask you about that because he's what is he? He's involved in the ownership, shareholder.
Yeah, as well. So we are connected once again in life.
Yeah. How did that come about? The fact
I signed, you know, for the club, and then I kind of also got involved with the club, and we share the same agent, Darren Dean. So they put them in contact, you know, with the ownership, and they felt that he would be a great icon, you know, to be involved with, and definitely he's helping so much. But going back to how he was as a man with me, I would say he's at the same level of Patrick with me. Zero doubts that Thierry helped me so much in my career when I was younger.
I've known Thierry for a long time as well. I mean, he does like talking about football. He lives for football, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And he was my coach. Remember, he was my teammate. He signed me for Monaco.
Yeah, Monaco.
Only for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We were together. And I remember when we were sharing the same hotel, because he kind of just arrived 2-3 months before. Then I was looking for a house. And sometimes he was always in the hallway, you know, like taking a coffee or a tea, and he was doing his things. And I would just go out to see a friend or with my family or to go for dinner, and he was there. And every time he used to catch me for 5 minutes, said, you have 2 minutes, and it ended up like being 3 hours. So after, when I was leaving the hotel sometimes to do something, I was looking from the elevator side, you know, to see if he was around. And then I was leaving, you know, sometimes I couldn't stop. Otherwise, I knew that I was not going to get wherever I had to go.
Yeah, why didn't it work for him there? It was kind of a bit too soon for him, all a bit much.
No, I don't think so. But I do remember that 17 injuries. They had 17 injuries at the time. Golovin, Ronnie Lopez, Jovetic, Falcao, everyone was injured. And then Monaco is a special place. And I think this didn't help him. They didn't give him the right time. Then he signed me. He signed Nando. He signed another couple of players, a bit more senior, you know, to bring experience to the team. And they didn't really give him the time to actually work with us. Yeah. You know, after 2 weeks, everything was over. But I think it was a little bit unlucky in that period.
In many ways. Your Arsenal career, some of the highlights. I mean, you got off to a great start, didn't you? You became the youngest player ever to score for them.
And to play and to score, I think, in a month, in a period of month, yeah.
Yeah, it's how important is it for a young player to get off to a good start?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I always tell the players, and especially the young players, that when you have it's not about how long it takes sometimes, it's about that when the moment comes, are you ready for it to grab it with both hands, you know? And I think this is the key. Also, obviously, having Arsene, that he was believing in me and trusting me. And of course, for sure, I had bad days in training or bad games, and he still believed in me, which is not easy, especially nowadays, because everyone is so scared to be getting fired, you know. So they just say, okay, I'm going to play the senior players. But in this regard, yeah, I played my debut with Edu in midfield. I was all right. And then the second game, playing against Paulins, you know, Wolverhampton, and I scored the goal. We won 5-1, and from there I was getting called up, you know, to go to the Champions League squads, etc. And, you know, yeah, definitely it helped.
I think you were also part of the squad, weren't you, when Manchester United ended Arsenal's run? You know where I'm going.
I think I do.
Smile on your face. And certain Pizzagate, when it was seen that there was a pizza thrown at Sir Alex Ferguson, it turned out it might have been one young Cesc Fàbregas.
Yes, it was a young Cesc Fàbregas. Before we start, I always say that I regret it, and straight away I went to apologize to, no, not straight away, but after in the years, after
no one really knew for sure at the time, did they?
Yeah, well, people that saw me, but nowadays it would be out in 1 second.
Yeah.
You know how it is, but before, yeah.
Can you tell me one thing? Was the pizza outside the box?
No, it was a a proper slide of pizza.
All round pizza or a slice?
No, just a slice.
Just a slice. But what was the topping?
Pepperoni. I didn't remember well. Yeah, pepperoni. Yeah.
Quite right too. But do you think? I mean, that was how you were very young when you did.
17.
You 17.
Yeah.
I presume your teammates thought, this kid's got something about him.
No, but I didn't play that game. I was warming up the whole second half, and it was a really big game for us because we were 49 games unbeaten. I played already a lot of games that season. I was feeling part of it definitely, and it was a very physical game. Arsenal didn't put me on, and I just left the first one with Robert Pires. I will always remember, through the tunnel, and we go into the dressing room before anyone else. And we always had pizzas at the time. Maybe the nutritionist or something was a bit different.
Where were they? In the dressing room?
Yeah, inside the dressing room. And you know how Old Trafford, the tunnel is super small. It's very, very tight, basically. And back on the day, there was Sol Campbell, Rio Ferdinand, Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira, Thierry. So big guys as well, you know. So you could feel the atmosphere in that tunnel straight away before or after the game. And straight away, I was in the dressing room eating a pizza, and I see that everyone outside the dressing room in that small tunnel, something was going on.
It was kicking off.
You know, it was kicking off. And by the time I go out, I see everyone just, getting into each other like a little fight. It got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was very small, very tiny, and I didn't know really what to do. So I wanted to bring something to the table to defend my teammates, and that's what I did. But I didn't aim at anyone. You know when you just throw something into the crowd to see if it hits someone.
And you hit the big man.
And then I hit the big guy, Sir Alex, unfortunately.
Where was it on the head? Or was it?
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I do, but I cannot say.
Oh dear, that's fantastic. What were your absolute highlights of your time at Arsenal?
Oof. That's a tough one because
so many.
Yeah, there were many, and for many years, obviously, my debut, my first goal. I know it doesn't count, but I do feel part of that Premier League title because I was every single day with them and I trained, and I want to feel, and through the years, it makes me feel better that some of the senior players, they said to me, "Oh, you made us raise the level." To see a young player, stepping in and always training to see that is he going to take our places or no. I remember I was speaking to Ray Parlow as well sometimes the year after he left, because Arsene kind of believed a little bit more in me because he was getting older, and he always said, you threw me out of the club, send me to Middlesbrough, etc. So there were many things. The day that I was captain, when we won the FA Cup, many days.
You talk about Ray Parlour there, and obviously people like Tony Adams as well. There was quite a culture that obviously Arsene Wenger changed a little bit in terms of that drinking culture, which they talk about themselves. Was that ever a kind of influence on you, that side of things?
No, not at all. No. Not at all. I remember, for example, Ray, Martin, they were superb. Yeah. Really, when I say all of them, I have not one thing to say negative about any of them. The older generation, the Thierrys, the Patricks, the Lawrence, Robert Pires, Ljungbergs. It was like going to university at 16, 17 years of age, it was impossible 2 years before to think that I would be living this type of experience. Because at the time, if I look back at my team, Lionel Messi, Piqué, all of these players, what I was living, they were still playing for the under 16, 17, 18s in Barcelona, and I was already up there training with one of the best teams in Europe's first team. So I was a privilege, and it made me grow so fast.
When you saw and you were training with those young future superstars at La Masia, could you see was it obvious that someone like Messi was going to be really, really special or not?
When you are young, it's difficult for you sometimes to identify, is he going to make it? You don't really know firsthand if the level is so high. Because when you are 14, 15 and you look at your heroes, Barcelona, for example, who were mine, you don't really understand what kind of level. You just see him like heroes that it's impossible to reach their levels. It's your dream, but
And they're
basically
men.
you don't really
You're
know.
a
And
boy.
they're men, and you don't really know how to get there or what you have to do, apart from being really competitive and being one of the best players. But definitely Leo was something that I've never seen in my life, and even when we were kids, because he was just dribbling everybody like they were not there. So after I moved to Arsenal, we had a little break. After 3 months, I moved there, so I went back to see my family, and they were playing a tournament, my age group of Barcelona against Real Madrid, and this type of player. My dad said, "Why don't we go and watch them and just say hi and everything?" So we went to watch the game, and Leo was playing number 10, captain, behind the striker, and I just remember, I cannot actually forget that game. He felt like a different guy, like a different person, stronger, bigger. They were trying to kick him, and he would never get on the floor, because before he was so small that sometimes when they were fouling him, yes, he was going to the floor, because he didn't have the strength. But it felt like after 3-4 months, he became a different type of player, and he was so outstanding, Gary. I cannot even describe.
I can imagine.
What but at that age, and for me to see, okay,
It's like, wow.
it was a wow, an incredible wow. And after that same year, he played for the under-19s. He played for Barcelona C, because before it was like that, Barcelona B, and he made the debut with Barcelona first team. So he played basically in 4 different divisions, so that you can imagine in 1 year how much he grew.
Yeah, we'll come back to Messi shortly. You also broke into the Spanish team about this sort of stage, but you got into a bit of trouble one night, didn't you?
When?
With the police?
Yeah, with the police. Yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah. How do you know that though?
Because you've told me before.
I told you. Okay.
I don't want you to tell that story because it's so good.
Yeah.
It was in Germany.
In Germany, at the World Cup, yeah. We played the first game, and Luis Aragonés told us, okay, you have the night to go out, etc. Before it was a little bit more like that, a bit more chilled. Now they don't let you do anything. So with Puyol, Iniesta, Xavi, and Luis Garcia, we decided to just have a little night out. We went to a Japanese restaurant that we all loved at the time, and we just took a van. Oh, actually, it was a Range Rover, big Range Rovers, to take us all of us there, and the driver drops us just in front of the restaurant. When you have to park a little bit on the side, it's not really a parking space, but they just drop you on the side, and obviously, I don't know, maybe you do it or someone else do it, but I don't really look before, I open the door when they leave me on the side. Maybe I should. I was obviously mistaken, 100%, but I didn't. I just opened my door, and there was a cyclist flying. Well, actually flying. It was going fast, but he flew. Vroom, and you feel the contact of the cyclist with the door. Yeah. I just didn't know what to do. You see a guy all of a sudden, by you opening the door of the car and going to eat a nice meal in a Japanese restaurant, you see a cyclist on the floor, that unconscious, bleeding. Thank God he had a cask, or how do you say, a helmet now. Yeah. And then obviously everyone there worried, what is happening, etc., etc. Luis Garcia touching his blood. I was like, what are you doing? They're trying to clean him with his hands. And then the police comes, and it was a bit stupid as well. When I was young. Who was it who opened the door? And me, joking, I was so young and stupid. Puyol, I was pointing at Puyol, and he wanted to kill me. Yeah. Like, this is serious, what are you doing? And then we had to go to the police station. We stayed there 3 hours. We had to pay, I don't know, a fine. I remember Luis Garcia still reminds me that he paid for it. I have to give it back to him. And yeah, it was we went back to the hotel to sleep, a little bit worried, obviously. We had the morning off, and yeah, at 8 o'clock in the morning, they knocked at my door in my room. I opened, and it was Luis Aragonés. And there I have to say, he was the coach of the Spain national team, and there I panicked, I have to say, because I said, something is wrong. For 1 year I've been here, and he hasn't even spoken to me apart from technical things, etc. I knew I was in trouble, and he said, what happened last night? And I was like, shit. said, okay, coach, we went out, I opened the door and this cyclist, I hate him. I'm sorry, I didn't look. You know what? He said, the cyclist, they told me that he was drunk. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, he was drunk. They made the test and it came back. He said, don't worry, these things happen. If I tell you the things I've done in my past, you wouldn't worry at all. I said, okay, thank you. It's like he took the advantage of that moment to create bond with me and to make me feel better, which he did, to be fair, because I think I thought I was finished at that moment when I opened the door and I saw the coach in there. So, yeah, it was a very strange night.
Let's
very
just
strange
make
night.
it clear the cyclist was okay.
Yeah, the cyclist was okay after that, and thank God, obviously. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Luis Aragonés is. I played for him at Barcelona for a season, just under a season. Incredible personality and character, and obviously he's the guy that won that first tournament for you guys in 2008 as well.
Yeah, for us he was unbelievable. I haven't been across many coaches as brave and strong mentally as him, because what he went through that I saw live, I experienced it, all of us did, between the 2006 World Cup in Germany and the qualifiers for the tournament that we won in 2008. Those 2 years were very, very hard for him, because he kind of left on the side Raúl, Albelda, Cañizares, Baraja, Salgado, big players for Real Madrid, for big teams in Spain and for the national team over the last years. And he believed a little bit in, let's say, our generation, the Silvas, Iniestas, myself. And every training session that we used to do in Las Rozas in Real Madrid, it was open for fans to come in, and there used to be hundreds and hundreds of people with pancartas. How do you say the pancartas in English? They write down Raúl Selección. The banners, exactly. The banners, everyone there and shouting and singing. And it was like, are they supporting the national team, or they just want Raúl back for the sake of, because he's Raúl, And then I remember one day we lost against Sweden in a big game for the qualifiers. When the game finished and we were at the airport, you know how it was. You lived it in Spain before, because there were so many cameras and journalists following the national team for Barcelona in your time, that he was surrounded all of a sudden for 20 cameras and 20 journalists. Are you going to finish? Are you going to stop being the national team? Are you going to retire from coaching? Just like that, all of a sudden. And I remember sitting with Puyol and saying the things that he must go through. We felt so bad for him that it created even a more bond, between him and us.
A them and us kind of thing.
Yeah, and we started, to perform, to start winning, and then he just became a legend forever by winning that trophy.
Did he still do the thing that just before you go out on the pitch in the dressing room, he gets a ball and every player touches the ball? Did he
inside all of us together? Yes, everyone huddled,
and everyone on the ball, and it's "Vamos, muchachos!"
Every game, every single game before, always together. He created like family bond. Yeah, 100%.
He was a great man who's sadly no longer with us.
Yeah.
After that, was it hard to leave Arsenal? Or would you have left for anywhere else other than possibly Barcelona?
No, I wouldn't have left for anything else or for anyone else. I even had doubts, and I maybe now thinking back, I think I should have waited a little bit longer.
Do you?
I think I should.
Why?
It was maybe not the right time. Xavi was still going strong. I thought in that moment, obviously, and how I was perceived and seen as the replacement of Xavi when he was getting a little bit older or basically about to retire. And it was not that time yet in this case. I know obviously different reasons, like Pep calling me and saying that he wanted to switch to a 3-4-3, that he wanted to put all the small, technical players at the same time on the pitch, which he did, to be fair, on the first season. But yeah, Xavi was still going strong. They had a lot of how can I say, everyone loved them, Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, for what they did before, obviously.
They were quite good.
They were not bad. And yeah, I just have the feeling that having waited a little bit longer,
you'd have been
making the move, I would have
irregular.
been, more ready myself and more at the right time, to make the right step at the right time.
What was the difference between playing for Wenger and playing for Pep Guardiola?
As I said before, Arsene was more into the technical side, more freedom, more occupying the spaces, more about my role in particular, about go where you feel you can be dangerous. But it is also trust, because he knew that by me doing that and giving me this freedom, I was actually delivering the way he wanted me to do. So that's also a connection that you get between the coaches and the players. And then when I went to Barcelona, Pep was completely the opposite. He was very positional play, tactically very strong. He had every piece, studied of where he wanted and what everyone should do at every moment. So in this case, everything was very different.
What kind of coach are you? Are you more Wenger or are you more Guardiola? Or even Mourinho?
I will try to be a bit of both. I always talk about timings, about spaces, about the right moments, when to appear, when to go. It depends let's say the fullback goes a little bit more inside, the winger to go a little bit more outside to give width, at least one player to give the width on the pitch, etc., etc. But I like structure at the same time, because I think that if the team is well structured and set on the pitch, then everyone will understand better what to do at each time of the game. So I try to be as flexible as possible, because nowadays football is changing, and I feel that the same way that before players didn't need to be told that much what to do, I feel that now every single player needs to be told what to do, or either way they are lost on the pitch. That's my feeling.
Yeah. Back to Messi. What's it like playing in the same side as him? Can it be intimidating for players? Because I always thought, if I played with Messi, I'd be terrified, because my touch is nowhere near as good as his, and all that kind of stuff.
I always think that good players make you better.
Yes.
And Leo definitely makes everyone else around him better, and you feel confident, you feel secure. That whatever ball you pass him, for other one, it will be a bad pass, but he makes it good, and he gives so much continuity to the game. He makes dribbles, which is so difficult in nowadays, because everyone pushes you man to man. So you need always players that make the difference, one-on-one, like Leo, like Neymar, like Hazard, etc.
Do you think they're a dying breed, people that go at players now? Because everything is a little bit more structured. Players have to do this. This pass goes in there. The player runs behind the fullback. This kind of stuff. Is dribbling going out of the game a little bit?
For me, yes, 100%. Last year, when we got promoted, we did it all by changing our mentality, by believing, and by being well structured. We didn't have one player that was super fast, because if you don't have dribblers, at least if they come man to man, you have pace. Okay, like Vardy type of player that you can then chip a ball and you can stretch teams or make occasions from that. And we didn't have players one against one. So that's why I understand that the structure is very important when you don't have this type of players. But definitely you see less and less and less. And that's why, in my opinion, for example, now we've been looking for wingers, but either they are so expensive or it's difficult to find, and the Williams, Lamine Yamals, etc., they cost over 100 million, and that's why they are rare in this time.
They're special players.
Very special.
Those sort of people. Why Chelsea?
When I was at Arsenal, with Chelsea and me, Chelsea and Arsenal, how it is.
That's why.
So it was always a frustrating time playing against Chelsea, because they were really strong. They were superb with Mourinho, with the Drogbas, Lampards, Terrys, etc. So I always kind of disliked them so much, even more for this reason. I always said it, for this reason. It was so frustrating playing against them, And when I went to Barcelona on my third season, after it, I kind of finished the season very, very strong. And Xavi ends up on the bench, and I start playing, and I'm saying, okay, I'm doing well, and this is my time, to fix my space, etc. And we play that game against Atletico Madrid. I don't know if you remember the last game of the season, where if we win, we are champions.
Yes.
And they needed the win or the draw. Okay, so that day I start. I play a through ball to Messi. Messi lays it back to Alexis. We score a goal 1-0, and I'm buzzing. Like I said, this is my moment. We win this. I play well. I'm here for the rest of my career. This type of feeling, after football changes and happens what it happens. But that was my feeling. Then we conceded a goal. We score a goal that it's disallowed on Leo, that it was never offside, etc., etc. And then I got substituted that moment for Xavi at the 75th minute, I don't know, something like that. And we end up drawing the game, and we don't win the league. Obviously, you've played at Barcelona, the Camp Nou. The Camp Nou can be very
Judgmental.
Yeah, judgmental, pitos,
Whistles,
etc.
Abuelos blancos.
Correct.
White handkerchiefs.
And then the day after, all the press is going after me, is going after Alexis Sanchez, is going after David Villa, a little bit the players that we didn't have that power, etc., etc. And I just felt, I said it's enough. Either there you can say, mental strength, being really strong, etc., and continue and suffer, etc. But for some reason, I just went through it a little bit of periods before during the 3 years, and I just thought that it was time to move on and to be maybe more important somewhere else. And then we had that week between the World Cup and the end of the league, that game. So I went to London, took a week off, rest a little bit, think about what I wanted to do. I kind of made my decision already. I wanted to move. I called Bartomeu, I called Zubizarreta, I told them my decision. And before going to the World Cup, I sat down on the same day with 3 clubs, with Man United, Manchester City and Chelsea at the house of Darren Dean, my agent, one after the other. After that...
Who did you talk to from those clubs?
Man United, I forgot. I spoke to David Moyes on the phone before, and then I met Chiqui Begiristain, and then straight after I met Jose Mourinho. And, by talking, analyzing, you also get perceptions, you get feelings about who is who and what they want from you.
I can imagine Jose would be quite persuasive.
Yeah, Jose, he convinced me. He brought me to Chelsea, 100%. He was the person that I had doubts, of course, for my past at Arsenal. Can I be the same player? Can I be happy again, playing football? Can I be important? And he made me feel that there was no other way. It was Chelsea or Chelsea, even Manchester City obviously had an amazing project. It was doing a great team, even with Silva, who I always had a great connection.
Did you worry at all about the fact that you'd played for Arsenal, you'd been an Arsenal player for 7-8 years, and then to go to Chelsea, did you worry about what the Arsenal fans would think?
Yes, of course I did, in a way, because I know now it means nothing, but Arsenal will be always one of the best things that happened in my life, in my career, for me as a person, as a player. Without Arsenal, nothing of this would have happened. So definitely you think about these consequences and stuff, but I also need to think, I was 27. If I was 32, I don't even think about it, I move on to another club. But at 27, you are still at the peak of your career. And I felt strong and I felt motivated to take a new challenge and to be very important. And that's what Jose made me realize I could be at Chelsea. And fortunately, I was right. 5 years there, we won basically everything except the Champions League. So, it was the right call, definitely.
I think I've heard you and seen you quoted many times as, people say you've got to pick the best of those coaches and boy, you've got some good ones to choose from. That you put Jose first.
I don't know if first. I don't know if first, but definitely I had one of the best seasons of my career under him. He plays with the brains of the player in a very smart way. When he wants to make you feel important, he's fantastic. I never had this kind of feeling with another coach in terms of he would just text me the day before the game. He says, "Hey, tomorrow you play with Oscar and Matic. I want you to dictate the game." Just a little message, but as a player, it gives you, wow, this guy believes in me, and you go to sleep buzzing that, tomorrow I have to be the man, etc., etc. I remember one game after Arsenal, we won 2-0. I played well, I gave one assist, we won 2-0, etc. And his text, I was having dinner with my dad, And he texted me, he said, what a game. He says, I knew you were good, but not that good. It's a stupid thing. Maybe he was not even meaning it, but
why
like...
sign me if you didn't think I was that good?
No, true. But what I'm trying to say is the type of message that he plays with your mind in a very positive way. After, there is the Jose that as well can be very tough on you if he doesn't like you or if he thinks that, you know, you're not providing what he wants or he needs from you. He can be also very, very tough. But yeah, definitely between Pep, Arsene, Jose, Aragonés, these 4-5 players, he's one of the best for sure.
If you had to take one aspect of each of, let's just go with those 3, Pep, Jose Mourinho and Wenger, if you had to pick out one thing that you would take into your coaching career now that you've started, which would it be from each person?
I think from Pep I will take the discipline that whatever you've done in the past doesn't mean anything, you need to deliver now, and probably the tactical side of things. With Jose, as I said to you, how he played with my head, the mental side of the game, I think is the man management. I think is fantastic. At least what I experienced myself. And with Arsene, the trust, especially, so many things from Arsene. But I think one that stands out is me now being a coach and working, you know, with a lot of young players as well, is how to trust and how to manage that those moments of the young players making mistakes. How do they react? What do they do? What is my message to them? How do I make them feel good? How do I make them grow, etc. I think this is one of his best attributes, 100%.
And then there's a certain Del Bosque, of course.
Yeah, Vicente Del Bosque, super calm.
Yeah,
what a calm guy. Like I always remember when Iniesta scores the winning goal on the final of the World Cup, 116th minute. They go on him, you know, the camera, and he's just normal. Like if the game is still playing like a normal game,
like
friendly,
like
a practice match. You know, it's fantastic. He was so calm, never really had a bad word for anyone, and he was just trusting the process and managing it in a way that was very, very, very calm.
Yeah, I've talked to you about this before, but it'd be nice to share it to people. The sense that obviously you went into that tournament with an injury, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you recovered, so you weren't actually in the starting lineup for that tournament, but you know you featured in certain periods. You came on and made a difference, and you were on the bench for the final as well. Tell us what it was like the night before and what happened the night before you played in that final.
You mean between Shakira and Piqué? No, I'm joking.
By all means, share that.
I knew you were not going there, but you know, sometimes you can be a bit sarcastic. I was just trying to tease you here.
Sarcastic, but not at all. No, you told me the story once about what happened, you know, late at night with all the team and went to certain players' room.
No, but this was not only the night before the final. This was a routine for every single game that we play. At 12 o'clock, midnight.
Before a match.
Before every match, we had this routine that all the team, for example, Xabi Alonso never came. 2 or 3 never really came because maybe they were sleeping or they had their own things going on. But 90%, let's say, all of us together in Pepe Reina's room. We had Nesquik with milk, and you have croissants. The team manager would just get us these big plates of croissants, etc., and we just dip them into the milk with Nesquik, etc., and we drink. Some people take 2, some people take 3, some people take 4, and then we just keep telling stories after story after story, like going back and remember this, etc., laughing a little bit, and then at 1:30 we used to go back to bed. It's incredible if you think about it now. If I'm the coach, now I'm a coach.
You'd be worried about that, wouldn't you?
If I know that the players are doing this, I could be going mental.
Well, it could be worse than chocolate milk. They could be, you know.
It could, but still, it's not ideal.
Having said that, we now know the secret to winning a World Cup.
Yeah, correct.
It's quite
that easy.
Chocolate milk.
It's very easy.
It's fantastic. I just love that. But you've been carrying an injury, and then you had a kind of another reaction. So you were on the bench for the final. Tell us what it's like being on the bench and how frustrating that must be and desperate you were to be part of that team and be part of that moment of history.
Yeah, definitely. You always want to play because you always die to play, but that moment is one of those moments that you just want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And before the semi-final, I broke my leg against Barcelona kicking a penalty, etc. So I struggled to make it in time. He called me up.
How do you break a leg kicking a penalty?
Well, the game before, we played against Birmingham, and you remember a player called Gardner playing for Birmingham?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, so midfielder. So he hit me big time on the peroneal, like really strong, and I was kind of limping. I was on crutches. I didn't know if I was going to make the game against Barcelona, but for me it was such a big game, so important. I didn't train the 3-4 days before, and the day of the game, in the morning before we met with the team, I just did a couple of laps at the Emirates just to see how I was feeling. I said, oh, that's fine, let's just go ahead. I took some, anti-inflammatories, painkillers, etc. I just played. It's one of those moments that when I was fouled for the penalty by Puyol, my leg got stuck between his two legs, and I think there I felt a little reaction. And when I went strong to hit the penalty, I think it just something broke in there, and it wasn't pleasant, to be fair.
I don't know why I'm thinking this, but did you score the penalty?
Yeah, I did. Thank God. No, and then by limping, I still score another one.
Yeah. So the truth is, you probably injured the broke the leg before.
Yeah, I think this was. I think by going sprinting to the ball and just hitting hard, I think I just made it work.
So therefore, you were in and out. You weren't in the starting lineup for that final. It's 0-0. It's 0-0. It's 0-0 against the Dutch, who were kicking lumps out of Spain, weren't they?
Yeah.
You must have been desperate to get on. Well, I know you were.
Yeah, I think it's the moment that I felt most desperate, to be on a football pitch, because as I said, I didn't play the semi-final because I had a reaction. Playing the day before, Fernando Torres shot, I blocked it and it hit me right on the place where I had my injury. So I was limping again. I thought I broke it again. So imagine my frustration. And there is this moment that the fitness coach was always the one that used to come to say to the players that are on the bench who is going to warm up. Remember, before there was only 3 substitutions and we were 23 players. That means 12 plus 2 goalkeepers, so about 9 players who can come on.
Yeah, was there part of you that was thinking, I don't want Spain to score yet. I want it to happen when I'm on the pitch.
Yeah,
I know that's selfish.
I said that. I think I mentioned this to you. Yeah, it's this kind of selfishness, that you could have, and people can kill you for this, for saying something like that. But I just wanted to be part of it, and I wanted to make a difference at the biggest stage, that anyone can have. So when the fitness coach, 5 minutes into the second half, he always goes and tries to go. He's going around every single player on the bench, and then when he's in front of you, he points at you if you are the one that is going to warm up or not. He keeps it so like tense, until and he's going around.
It's like some X Factor.
Yeah, exactly. And I was at the end of the bench, so imagine. It felt like it was a 5 minutes walk. The fitness coach was
trying to catch the manager's eye, of course.
100%. I'm always looking around. So he's standing up and he goes. He points at Fernando Torres, and I'm like, okay, that's one gone. He keeps walking. He passes everybody. He walks on Jesus Navas, point at Jesus Navas, and I'm like, no way. There's only one left. That's it. Because before the way Del Bosque worked is the 3 players that go to warm up are normally the 3 players that come into the game. That's it. Yeah. And he just keeps walking. He's in front of me, and he lifts his finger like it feels like it's 10 seconds. And then he points me, and I'm like, oh my God, thank God for that. Yeah. So I went to warm up. I was sprinting all over the place, and then just to make sure that I'm ready to deliver.
You made a difference. That must have been magical.
Yeah, it's probably the greatest moment of my career, to be able to impact a World Cup final. I should have scored before. I should have been Iniesta. I should have scored with my left foot. I missed it in front of the goalkeeper alone, one-on-one.
Assist is the second best thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Cannot complain.
No. Tell us, most English people, even I'm not old enough to remember England winning a World Cup. Tell us what it feels like.
It's just a feeling that you cannot describe. Really, you need to feel it. I cannot go back and remember it because the adrenaline is so high. You achieved everything that anyone can ask for, when you are a little kid and you want to play football, and your dream is to play football. You never expect that you will win a World Cup, that you will be in that moment. The way it happened as well, I'm talking about me personally, suffering in a way this moment that am I going to be called up? No, then getting injured before the semi-final, am I going to be, selected to play the game, etc. So there were a lot of doubts in the last 3-4 months over I could make it or not, and just by being in that moment and lifting that trophy is probably one of the best moments of my career and my life for sure.
The celebrations must have gone on for a while.
Yeah. From the moment we landed at the airport of Madrid till we made it with the bus to wherever the party was.
I think you upset Pujol on the way there, didn't you?
Yeah. You know that too.
I've got
Good memories.
Stories.
I shouldn't talk to you too much. Yeah, no, he did something. He was sleeping. I don't know. It was 10 hours or 12 hours.
From Cape
Town or Johannesburg. Johannesburg to Madrid, and basically we did something, to Puyol while he was sleeping. Something I cannot tell here, but he saw me. I was the one, unfortunately, that was responsible for it. And he woke up. He saw something strange, and he started following me. So angry all over the plane. He caught me in the end, of course, and he kicked me all over the place. So then I went to sleep myself. He put me to sleep,
I
actually.
would imagine of all the people you don't want to upset is probably Carlos Pujol.
I know, but we were close.
Yeah.
He was single at the time, which, he was a much more calmer Puyol than the ones we saw after or before. I kind of felt, he was more in the mood to make jokes, but when he's sleeping, now you learn the lesson that you shouldn't wake him up.
To win 3 tournaments in 3 goes, it's unbelievable, really, isn't it? To go 2008, 2010, and then win the Euros again in 2012. What a special bunch of players. It must have been magical to be part of that squad, that team.
Yeah, because I felt we were a family. Like, really, we still have a group chat on WhatsApp. Yesterday was the birthday of Albiol, and we congratulate each other all the time. We still keep saying, when are we going to meet all together? When are we going to have dinner? Yeah, we have a reunion, but Pepe Reina, 42, he's still playing. The other one is now doing this. So it's very difficult to manage a situation like that. But yeah, we were a complete family. Everyone wanted to go to the national team. Everyone wanted to feel part of it. It was a special bonding, very, very special.
And the way you played football as well. I mean,
yeah, we were a great group of players. But as I said to you, even if there were amazing players like Xavi, Iniesta, nobody felt that it was bigger than the rest. We were a proper team. You know how it is that sometimes in big teams there is the typical player that, could create a bit of conflict because he feels he's bigger than the rest. No, we were all hard workers. We were all thinking for each other, helping each other. I play, I don't play. I always want to be part of it. It's not easy. It's not easy to find groups like that.
And it looks like they found another group like that.
Yeah, it reminded me.
Did it surprise you how well they did?
Yes, it did surprise me because a lot of young players that I have to be very, very honest, I didn't even know. Some of them, they were coming from other teams that I don't follow regularly.
Well, there were hardly any Real Madrid and Barcelona players in the squad.
Yeah, and this makes it even more special. But you could feel the atmosphere. You could feel that they are creating this group, this bonding. I think Morata also did very well as captain. He's a good guy. He created a good atmosphere in there. So, yeah, delighted for the boys and for Luis de la Fuente because he also comes from from the younger ranks of the Spanish national team. So he knew them better than anyone. So when you know someone that's been working with this group of players since very, very young, you trust that he knows them more than anyone.
Yeah. How special is Lamine Yamal?
He's top. He's really special.
Yeah.
He's really special. I mean, at 16 years old, now 17, doing what he's doing, and week in, week out, because you just feel that the boy keeps growing and growing. The other day you watch the game against Valladolid, and anything he does or everything he does is just different. And nowadays, when I watch a lot of football and I analyze a lot of games and opponents, a lot of teams do the same thing. They play 3 at the back and the runs are all the same and they defend in back 5 or man-to-man. You see a lot of things. But to see a young player like that with such a personality, character and courage to try the things that he tries, and he's successful. And sometimes when he's not, he doesn't mind. He wants the ball again. For me, it's just fantastic because I love different players in terms of players that they like to take responsibility and say, pass me the ball, I will make something happen. And he's that one.
Individuality as well is important, because we were talking a little bit before, weren't we, just about how everything's structured and everyone knows their jobs and they need to know their jobs. You need that little bit of individual stuff to lift you from the rest, don't you, to make a difference.
Yeah, I like to watch these players that even if they go man-to-man or they are man-marked or they play against a fullback that's really aggressive, these players that they say, pass me the ball, I don't care who is next to me, I will make something happen. Or this player that feels, there are players that you watch them play and they are always pressed. They feel that they are always pressed, they are always under stress, they attract the pressure, they don't know what to do with the ball. And then there are these players that wherever they are on the pitch, whatever type of ball they get, they make it feel like it's easy for them, that they are never pressed, they always find a solution, they are ahead of the game. And definitely Lamine Yamal is one of those.
I always think the key, the difference that players make, it's not just football but any sport. The greats always look like they've got more time than everyone else.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what, and straight away with him since day one. And I didn't know him because the first day he played, they told us, yeah, there is this young guy that Xavi's going to play him, he's going to give him the debut. You know,
we're all going
16 years old. But even though you think, okay, let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
But you never expect this type of level, you know, and to do it at such a young age, you know how it is. It's very, very tough.
Yeah. Well, on the subject of Spain, and I suspect he might win the Golden Boy. But who's going to win Ballon d'Or this year? Everyone's always interested in that. Particularly in Spain, they've always been interested in that. I think it's now the case perhaps in England as well. But they've always been a kind of, particularly around Real Madrid, there's this, who's your man? I'd go Rodri, but I don't know.
Rodri is definitely a great shout. The same way you say Rodri, you could say Carvajal. Yeah, I know he's a fullback and nobody really, but he wins the Champions League. Yeah. He scores. He plays in the Euros. Yeah. He delivers an amazing championship. Yeah. The consistency, the career he's had. You know, many things that you put together.
And obviously winning the Champions League and
the Euros.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Both things together.
It's not bad. So the fullbacks go, come on, Cesc,
No.
Come on.
And you're talking about the defensive midfielder as well.
Well, that's maybe that's a sign that where the game shifted a little bit. Not necessarily for the good.
No, 100%. No, but it's true that football is changing, and then now we need to adapt to the situation that before it was the easiest thing in the world. Messi, Cristiano. Now they're gone. So now everyone is a little bit... Yeah. You know, where is the football going? Where are we going to choose? You know, Rodri's played fantastic, Carvajal. There's always the likes of Mbappé, Haaland, you know, that everyone will talk about. I'm not really capable to say anyone specific at the moment. Okay. But there is always also the shout of Vinicius because he's done, you know, and win the Champions League and playing well. But yet, your shout is very interesting to me because I think he deserves it, and he brings, for me, Manchester City is a different team with Rodri or without.
Why do Spain produce that kind of player, the six, the Busquets, Rodri, Xabi Alonso, just to name the three off the top of my head? I look at English football, we don't ever seem to create that kind of player.
I don't want to compare England and Spain because I don't really know how, obviously I do from the Arsenal time and Chelsea, etc., but how they really work from a very young age. But I told you before when I went to La Masia, it's all about football education. On and off, because off is really important for the values of Barcelona, identity, etc., but on the pitch, it's all about technical ability, spaces, movement, a little bit of tactical as well. So they introduce a little bit of everything, but they want to make you a better player. It's not just like nowadays you see a lot of tactical knowledge from a very young age, you know. Before it's more about the game and understanding the game and playing a lot of possessions, a lot of 3-mans, a lot of games, for example, 10 against 8 or 10 against 9, where you always have one extra guy and you need to identify, you know, and sometimes I remember the coaches a lot of times stopping whoever has the ball in that moment, stop. Who is the free man? He starts looking. That guy said, okay, now by being standing, how are you going to find him? And he needs to give the idea. Okay, now I would find him through playing not directly, indirectly, playing through the striker, and the striker will find him, etc. So it's all of these things that they make you work the mind, and challenge you inside of the pitch. And I think this is super important for them to understand, because football is very dynamic. You cannot tell a player to do always one thing, because you move, I move, the other one moves, and then what it's 4-3-3 that we call it 4-3-3 becomes a 3-5-2, all of a sudden. So for me, that's why I'm very, very conscious that the players need to understand the game more than us coaches letting them say, okay, now do this, do that, do this, like robots. It's about freedom for them to understand, and you need to coach that on the pitch.
Yeah. What's the difference between coaching and playing?
Well, it's got nothing to do.
It's totally different.
Yeah, totally different. Yeah. As a player, you want to compete, you want to train well, you take care of yourself, and then you just go home, you spend time with the family, you rest, you're waiting for the next day, to be able to be on the pitch, and also the fact that you are with your teammates every day, the dressing room, how it is, that feeling that it's so nice. As a coach, I want to be careful how I say that for not to be badly understood, but you don't really enjoy. You don't really have time to enjoy. That's the moment. You win a game, 5 minutes. You could say with the staff, okay, a beer. You take a beer, 5 minutes. You're already thinking about the next, and you will be on the way back, analyzing the game. What we could have done better, etc. Then you are already thinking, analyzing the next game you're playing on the next Saturday, and you need to be, persistent, consistent. It's 24/7. No matter what, you start very early in the morning and you finish the moment you put your head on the pillow to go back to sleep. And this is what I mean. As a player, I felt you win a game and you have time to enjoy it. You have time you go for dinner, you score the goal, you feel wow, I'm so good, etc. But as a coach, it's very, very tough.
Therefore, I'll ask you the follow-up question is, do you enjoy it as much as you did when you were a player? There must be something in this game to make people like yourself want to do it.
It's the passion for the game.
Yeah,
it's passion, and I love to do it. And I stopped playing. I still had a year contract last year to play, and I didn't enjoy the game anymore because of many reasons. I'm not talking about the football. I'm talking about we were playing a different football that I didn't really enjoy. So I always said that whenever I wake up in the morning, I go to train and I don't really feel happy, I would stop. And the game was taking me to this coaching, role. I wanted to be part of something that I create, not that others are telling me to do that I don't believe in. And this was a little bit the biggest reason. But yeah, you feel the passion for the game 100%. And for me, in this case here in Como, where we are at the very beginning of everything. 3 years ago, we were not even professional in the club.
Yeah, tell us about the project. I mean, where did it? I mean, it's 20 odd years now, isn't it, since Como?
21.
Last in Serie A.
Yeah, 21 years.
So 21 years, and to get them back up, that must have been special. But I spent the night in Como, and we walked around the ground.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's tiny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tiny.
It doesn't look like a top flight team.
That's what I mean. And also in Italy, there are some stadiums like that. They're a bit older. The requirements to make new stadiums and to basically make them more modern is more difficult than in other countries, because everything in Italy is very from the history, and they believe in this so much. Yeah. So yeah, it is a little bit older stadium. We're trying to fix many things to make it. Actually, we got yesterday awarded the permission, to start playing at the stadium as an officially proper Serie A team, because before we didn't have it. So we had to play 4 games away from home consecutive. So now we are very, very happy. And 4 or 5 years ago, we started in Serie D, the club. And slowly now we became a Serie A team. As I said to you, quicker than we would have expected, but now we are here and we have to deal with it.
Yeah. So it must be exciting though, playing against all the giants with, with a small club like Cobham.
Yeah, it is. It is very exciting. It's a big challenge.
What's your target this season? Is it to stay up?
Yeah.
That would be it,
Yeah. The target this season is to stay up 100%. We know who we are. We're a very humble club.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to work. Everyone needs to be hungry to be here, to sacrifice themselves for the project. And I always say it, don't get confused now because, I don't know, Sergio Roberto came, etc. Don't get confused. Like, we are who we are. Feet on the ground, humility, work hard. If in 5 years we become a top side, then we talk about different things. But now it's time to dig and work hard to stay up. Yeah.
Been a tough start. You got 1 point from the first 3 games, and obviously missed a penalty at Udinese to equalise in the last minute. That must have been a bit of a blow.
Yeah, 100% when you miss a penalty. But not only for that. For me now, I know it can sound a little bit... Results are results, and this is what makes the big difference in football. But if you look at our performances and the moment where we are after 3 games, having come up this year, changing 11 players, I cannot be unhappy with the performance, because when you arrive against Juventus, it's different. It's like a hit of reality. We had a good half an hour, but after we conceded the first goal and the midfielder got injured and went off, we were not at the right level. So, okay, you take that one, Juventus away, first game, you'll take it. But then against Cagliari, you arrive 27 times, you score 1 goal. And we should have won the game 100%. We were dominant, and I like what I saw. Then against Udinese, we play even better, more with the style that I want. I see the personality that I want. We arrived 22 times. You miss a penalty in the last moment, and you're saying, okay, am I going to change? No, we're not going to change, because I believe in football, sometimes you just need a little click for it to change the way you want it. It's not going our way at the moment for whatever reason it is, but the performances, if you analyze, and the way we do it as coaches, we are not unhappy.
No.
You know, we
so
are
you
doing,
encourage,
we are
really.
doing exactly.
You're not being outplayed either. So
no, not at all. No. Not at all.
Yeah, that's good. I want to finish with just a bit of fun, really, because you played with so many great players in your career. So many great players. I want best goalkeeper, best defender, best midfielder, and best forward that you've played with.
Okay, it's quite easy.
It is, but I'm going to take Messi out. You're going to put him in all 4.
Okay.
No, not 4. Goalkeeper.
That I played with, huh?
Yes.
Goalkeeper. I'm going to go for Iker Casillas for the moments that we shared. Of course, I had great goalkeepers in Barcelona, like Valdés, Jens Lehmann, etc. But yeah, I think for what we shared on and off the pitch, the memories, what we won together, and having played together for many years, Iker Casillas, yeah. Defender is tough. It's tough. I think I'm going to go for Puyol, because he was not the greatest football player.
Because he'll put you to sleep again if you
He'll put you to sleep if I don't call him, if I don't say him. You got me. But I miss players that loves defending, and that they would go over the line, to save a goal, and they are proper warriors. I mean, like John Terry, Sergio Ramos. Piqué was a bit more special. He's a bit more my style. Yeah. Okay, but in terms of defending, being a warrior, a proper captain, proper team player, I'll pick Carlos Puyol. Yeah.
A
Leader. Yeah.
Midfield.
Midfield is very tough.
They're all tough, really.
Midfield is
when you
they're all tough.
You're right.
You're right. I am going to go with Iniesta. I love Xavi. I love David Silva. Patrick Vieira. Gilberto Silva. I had some great company in there. But Iniesta, for me, is the most complete. He always, what we were talking about before, pass him the ball wherever you want, how you want, that he will make it always good. He will make it look easy. He'll be surrounded by 7 players, and he'll not feel the pressure. He will always find the right solution. And in the later stages of his career, he improved by scoring goals. He was attacking more the space, especially when I was playing with him as well. We used to combine a lot. understand each other so well. I go outside, he comes inside. I come inside, he goes outside. So I always felt amazing with him. Also, he was not the greatest in the final pass, but he could see a final pass. And then individually, in terms of dribbling and keeping the ball, I don't think I've seen a better player in midfield than him.
Yeah, and forward?
Forward, I'm going to go with Thierry Henry for the reasons that I said to you before. He was so dominant. I mean, you didn't play in his time, but you watched him obviously the whole of his career in England, and you know how he was when he was on his day, and even when he was not. Sometimes he was unstoppable. I mean, some defenders and big defenders and great defenders, they didn't really know what to do with him.
I always think when we think of the very best players, and you've mentioned a number of them there, that even however good they are, there are just the occasional individual that kind of transcends even them, that are comfortably better. You know, in my time it was Diego Maradona, in your time like Messi. I mean, it's just football on another level, isn't it?
It's on another level, and you can see that now we talk about team, about defending all together, about structures and everything. But at the end of the day, what makes the big difference are the individual players. The individual quality is what makes the difference. 100%. The other day, we won a lot last year when we were in Serie B and many games. And as I said to you, we're very well structured, disciplined. And we did the same against Juventus. But it's another level. And then I could see live that the first touch, that the first pass, that moment that whether last year we were pressing and they were kicking it long because they were scared. Now we were pressing the same, but they didn't feel pressed. They were getting away from the players. Individual quality, you know, and I was like, wow, this is Serie A. This is another level.
Absolutely. Cesc, you've given us so much time, been so generous with it. I feel like I've been a little bit like Thierry Henry. In fact, I've got you trapped. I've got you trapped in your office and won't let you go. I wish you absolute success this season. I hope you stay up comfortably. It's an amazing setup you've created here. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Gary. It's my pleasure.
That's it for the rest of football this week. Bye from me.